There's a bigger window here for Kabum to scale up. I expect things to start getting bloody around level 6 unless some oversteps are made in these early stages.
Well, we'll see how this whole thing goes in just a second, because we are onto the Rift, ladies and gentlemen. We have Kabum versus Pain here in Game 2 of this semifinals on this beautiful Sunday. And for the moment, well, standard 5-point defense, all the usual shenanigans. But let's talk about this jungle matchup. Game 1, Karaoke completely walking over Wiz, not letting him get anything done in the early game. How do you think this is going to shape up in Game 2?
So I think that Wheeze will be looking for a lot less interaction this time around. He is on a grave, someone that really likes to farm up, get items before they start getting in the faces of their enemies. And boy, oh boy, you can see there on the screen, a 96% of the vote here in Game 2 is for Pain Gaming. That feels a little high to me. A little high to me, Lethy. I look over at their comp. You know, they've got tools. I don't necessarily think they outscale. People that think Xayah doesn't scale are kind of trolling, particularly if you watched yesterday's series with Gen G. It does a lot of damage, quite a lot of damage.
It does, yeah.
I think that Kabum have a fine composition here. Again, it will be about slowing down Weiser and Dinketo in side lanes as this game progresses and avoiding that level 6 spike when all of their tools come online. And Clever from Parang here is actually taken E to start at level 1 to avoid the crit lotto against Weiser.
Yeah, a little bit of extra movement speed definitely goes a long way in this matchup. But other than that, well, it's gonna be an interesting lane for sure. But you brought up something really important, I think, and that is the side lane pressure versus basically, for me, what is Kabum's comp, and that looks like a lot more team fighting. And we got some level 2 fights going on in the bot lane, of course, level advantage for Pain. They don't commit fully onto it. A little bit scared of the save. But as I was saying, a little bit of a maybe disengaged strat in regards to the team fights. Never mind, no disengaging coming in from Pain as they go in hard with the dredge line. And this time the save chunked down to half.
Yeah, clever timing there from damage. Recognize the minion was going down. That's a lot of damage. And the cleanse off of Desave once again. Trigo still has his house. Should flash early, probably. Okay, I think he's just dead. No, they're going to back off. He has no support. I'm a little surprised they did not continue that. Or Karaoke did not flash, but well played by House to avoid that gank.
Well, there might have been some mind gaming going on from House not flashing there. They probably were expecting Wiz to be around the corner there, and not really a 2v2 you want to fight Volibear Ari against 2 ranged with the Graves. So, well, he saves his flash. Really good moves here by House, and we'll leave that to the viewers if that was mind games or just luck. But for the moment, it's going to be the top lane turret that takes a lot of damage, and both junglers in the area to support whatever shenanigans are going to happen here next.
Yeah, Parang and Wiz hanging around, knowing that this dive was a possibility. Also, we're both pathing top lane, so just a little bit of cover, but it allows Parang to continue this pressure because he's got the level lead thus far, slowly building up a CS advantage. Skuro, though.
Yep, a little bit of a fight in the bot lane, but both of these tanky supports, I mean, you can chunk them a little bit. They're not going to care too much. On top of that, it's a Leona. Like, Leona presses W and doesn't care about anything anyway, so we're good here for the moment. Nice plant, though, from Wiz to enable Parang to clear that ward.
Yeah, ward will go down. One thing to note about this bottom lane, I've kind of seen it so far. It can be a little tricky for Desave to get damage down onto Jinx, but really don't want to dump damage into damage because he actually has gone Aftershock instead of kind of the becoming more common. And hold on here, Parang.
Yep.
Oh boy,
he's
a
little bit far up. Wiz is there, and Weiser gets completely baited. Stunned up on his ghost, but they can't quite follow up because this Tryndamere is fairly quick on his feet. But, well, one summoner burned. Lucky break for Weiser, but still the pressure is going to keep rolling in the top side. It's a flipped matchup compared to Game 1.
Oh, that's really good for the side of Kabum, though, because, again, we talked about these level 6 spikes and where this, we mentioned, right, I didn't think this was going to be bloody until level 6. Looking like that's going to be true. We've had some aggro in the bot lane, but otherwise mostly just a standard start to this game. Well, guess what? That Ghost is not going to be available for Weiser at level 6 when he could put some kill pressure onto Perong, and that is really going to be necessary for him to run down this little rat. So he's not going to have that rat on level 6, meaning the timer and any play they want to make going to be a little bit delayed.
Exactly. I am a little bit worried about Weiser here right now. He only has the flash left, and being chunked out so hard puts him in a dangerous position. But for the moment, Kabum not really in a spot to punish Weiser for that properly. But Karaoke now roams in on the top lane. Ooh, nice flash, but he predicts it with the lightning, the spin to win, and the first blood for Pain. Talk about a flip top lane matchup. This is game 1 all over again.
Yep, Karaoke makes an extra visit to the top side as the wave is pushing in. Weiser does well to hold it, and that's just beautifully done by Karaoke, predicting that Perong needed to flash, and Perong falls for the trap. He flashes right into the Sky Splitter. If that damage doesn't land and he just gets stunned up, there is a possibility that he lives. But once the Sky Splitter hits him, he is dead to rights. It does net them a pretty early Drake here on the bot side, but a nice turnaround in the top for Pain Gaming.
Yeah, it's a very, very important counterplay, or at least an important response that you kind of pull out here on the side of Kabum, because otherwise you'd be sitting down, a kill, no pressure in the top lane, and no dragon to show for it. And of course, it's an Ocean Drake. That region is gonna be helpful in the laning phase, to say the least.
Certainly. Well, of course, a lot of these members on the side of Kabum are the ones with poke in their back pocket. The all-in, a little stronger, I would say, for paid. So maybe not as hopeful as Mountain would have been, but definitely a
True.
nice little benefit for the laning phase, as you mentioned, could be a little more greedy with some of your trades. And oh boy, they are really trying to make Perong's life miserable here on the top side, even in a counter matchup. Level 6s are here, so he can stay alive, Weiser, but still does not have Ghost.
Yep, was a really good patience here. Trigo gets engaged on, beautiful Zenith Blade, but the dredge line does not land. They can't connect, but now the dive comes in. That's a Tryndamere and the Volley Bear. You don't have a turret, and the other one doesn't care about the turret, and that nets them a second kill. Man, Pain is going hard on the abuse on the top side, and it's working so damn well for them.
Yeah, it's a very large tent that Karaoke seems to have on this top side for Parag.
I
At
mean,
this
it's a
point,
big
Parag,
bear, right?
yeah, he just needs to kind of take this in stride. You can see the gold lead is only 500, right? It's basically just first blood, and that is because
Oh no,
he
not
did
the
not TP
TP,
back into this.
not the return gang. Poor Perang. I mean, I'm not sure if you can call that he deserved, but man, you gotta know better than TPing in on that. But Weiser, also overstaying his welcome, has the ghost to actually get away with it. That is just rude, man.
All right,
What?
so I just asked for them to not lose their heads on the side of Kabum and recognize that if you're going to camp the top side that hard, you can just make plays on the bottom side. You can take camps away. You can take dragons. You can stack them, right? These are all options for you. Instead, Perong throws his life away by TPing right back to the turret, and then House comes over the wall and wastes his flash, not respecting or recognizing the timer on the Ghost. And now they want to get into a scrap for the Rift Herald as well. If they lose this, it will be all will be wasted in these last couple of minutes for Kabum.
Let's hope their mental didn't go kaboom there. It would be a shame.
I'm really
all,
right. It looked like it did. I'll be honest.
Right? Yeah, it's a little bit questionable. I mean, you can, if you get that, it's a big kill for the victor. It's a big pickup. You get the stacks on your passive, kind of get to evolve your spells early. But other than that, yeah, you're in a rough position now that you don't have flash. You didn't get anything for it. And you have Karaoke, who loves to camp lanes on the Volley Bear, which is exactly what the bear is supposed to do. So this mid lane, probably gonna fall under some nasty pressure from Pain's side in the next minute or two.
Potentially. This is a little trickier to get onto the Victor, right? Even if you turn the turret off, with Weiser not there, it's not necessarily guaranteed you're walking into a gravity well, you're walking into a lot of damage from the Chaos Storm. He is flashless, of course, meaning he is a little more vulnerable than normal. What we're looking for Kabum, right, is try to work on that next dragon coming up in a minute 47. You did take the first one pretty early on, and if they're going to continue to set up this camp in the top side, 0-3-0 is Perong. You can try to punish them by getting those early drakes and threatening a soul win condition for Pain. I mean, I feel like you've camped top enough. You can start to try and spread that lead to mid because you do need to continue to get gold. Otherwise, as you see in the CS department, Karaoke, when he's making these plays, is just giving Wheeze time to farm up and get more power. He is leading in gold, though.
Yep. I mean, it's a very effective jungle gameplay so far from Karaoke. And quite honestly, I mean, he won game 1 for Pain. He is on the best path to winning game 2 for them as well. Just a phenomenal performance from the
no! Oh, it's a
Oh.
tragedy.
Oh, I mean,
He was
ladies and
he
gentlemen,
he
you
he,
only
he
get this in CBLOL.
Oh, dude, he totally switched it too. He had them in his inventory in the 1-2 slot. He reversed them just recently when he picked up his mythic item. When he got that chem tank, he thought it was still in the same slot, and he pressed the stopwatch on accident. Oh no!
Oh no, it's the bear. What is he doing? He's going golden?
Yeah,
Wait,
basically.
that's not in the script. What's happening here?
That was a bit unfortunate. I still, without flash, I'm not sure if they would have gotten
Oh?
that kill onto house, but they definitely had an option. Oh, that is
Oh,
Skuro's
look
dead.
at that Zenith blade. That was some clean gameplay from Skuro. Oh, I love to see that.
That's what we like to see from Skuro. Had a bit of a tricky time finding those engages in game number 1. Finds a very nice Zenith blade this time around, and with the Rift Herald in the back pockets, that's just a lot of extra gold going on to Desave, going on to Wheeze here. A very nice play in the bottom side to finally, it seems, punish Trigo for a damage roam.
Exactly. They got some bit of gold out of this first Herald, but or was the second Herald already? I have no idea. It's the third death for, no, actually the fourth death for Perang already. Weiser even gets out in Quado's roam, paying up nicely. And of course, that turret is going to lose some platings. Pain also picking up a dragon, so trading a few platings in the bot side for another kill on top, a first blood turret maybe even, and a infernal dragon. Hashtag worth, quite honestly.
Yeah, I would agree with you, right? And it's just clever timing from Pain because they recognize after Kabum made that play on the bot side that they'll have a timer when everyone is back in base. So their bot lane redeploys first. That allows them to get the Drake. They even get the roam timer in top side. Yeah, Dinkato has to go back, but he has TP, so he doesn't miss a whole lot making that roam after House did leave the lane. It's great stuff from Pain. They continue to try to push this early game lead. Not quite in the same spot they were in game 1. Just about 1.5 is it at the moment? Nearing 2K here at the 12-minute mark, but it gotten a little bit more of an explosive game in game 1. Granted, their comp was better for it.
Yeah, it's a gold lead after all, right? Doesn't matter if it's like 1.5k or 5k, it is a lead. You are winning at the moment, and the bigger question is how can they scale that forward? How can they keep the snowball rolling, even though they don't have Nuno in their team? And one of the answers there is probably going to be Weiser versus Perang, because, my god, this cannon, not in a good position. Spins in. He does have the Gale Force, but doesn't want to follow up. So this cannon, what can you even do in this lane? Like, what's the game plan from Kabum from here on out to claw this game back?
So that is a good question, because I would have said that a way to do that is to stack dragons and then around the third Drake while Perong TP's in. And well, I mean, Kennen TPing in, that's a very valuable thing to have for your team. But they lost the second Drake, so they're nowhere near a Dragon Soul. The next kind of big objective they would have is the Baron. But that's really what you're looking for, is the TP flank in a team fight. That's where you get your value, because yes, we always knew that Weiser would be winning on a side lane. We didn't expect such a hard camp. Speaking
Oh
of,
my god, look at that. That's a high-speed drive-by, and they are not gonna give House any mercy.
wait,
Actually, slicing Maelstrom, Perang comes back with a vengeance, and they get a kill on the jungler. Kabum showing up at last to play here in game 2.
no kidding. And Hao's actually doing a brilliant job of staying alive long enough for Perang to show up. Yeah, he loses the turret, but that turret was going down anyway. So that is totally worthwhile, using your TP there to shut down Karaoke. Keep your mid laner in his lane. Well done by Kabum. And now Hao's looking for the solo kill.
And he is gonna get it. The depth charge is not gonna land. It's a 1-for-1 in the mid lane, but judging by that early that House had, he is gonna love that way all the way to the bank. It's great for him. In the meantime, oh, never mind. I don't get to stop talking here. Weiser going for another kill in the top lane. His ult used, but this time around, Perang finally has a stopwatch picked up with that assist goal from earlier. So he is a little bit safer in his own turret. Slowly but surely, yeah, as mentioned, Kabum coming back in this game.
Yeah, you can see the gold lead just about 1K now, so they have reduced it from that 2K, and I think the stopwatch buy for Parang, very, very clever, as we'll see this replay again. Yeah, House gets the lockdown on the gravity while he decides to go all in, even with the health disadvantage, and I believe it is the Ignite here that might get the final blow. We did not see an assist, so yeah, that depth charge never did land. It was the back half of the queue that came in and finished off Howes, but looking a lot better this game, Howes, than he was in game one on this Victor. As we get into the mid game, the spot lane turret will fall open. Second one of the game for Pain that will reestablish their almost 2-ish K gold leads, prop 1.5. But Kabum in a much better spot than they were in game number one. They haven't lost as many turrets. They still have mid turret with Howes defending it. And Parang, if he can get to 2 items, which is getting a little help here with this Rift Herald, and he gets Zonias, then he can start to turn around these dives that Weiser wants to play, especially now that they have opened a long lane in the top side. So good work by Kabum to address sort of the pain points and the win con for Pain Gaming. They are in a much better spot. And wow, I think Weiser kind of fumbled that. It gets an extra charge. Desabe has ult.
Yep, never mind. That's Carrio coming in once again. These high-speed drive-by gangs from the Volibear are super, super dangerous, but so far, Pain not able to benefit from them anymore since minute 10, roughly, and now... Well, what can you net out of this? Dragon in 35 seconds. You can establish some vision, maybe push out bot lane, put some pressure on the tier 2 there, but that tier 1 is gone. Oh, yeah. They're actually pulling the trigger on House. Never mind, the stun ran out. This is a dangerous Victor. Death Ray goes in. Chaos Storm as well. This time, the damage on Tinquedo, not quite enough. Karaoke is gonna clean that one up. But still, this looks a little bit rough from Pain.
Yeah, so they're actually almost certainly going to lose the Drake for this, right? The question is, can they get this top lane turret? Weiser continually playing the split push game, trying to get this, but Karaoke is chunked a little bit. He's gotten his health back. Dinkato had to retreat. He has TP, so they will TP for the Drake. Parang in trouble.
They're not going to TP for anything for the moment because Weiser is going to run in for the kill. Flashes out. Clean execution here on the Tryndamere diving mechanics. As far as you can call anything about this champion mechanics, but other than that, we got a Drake fight lined up. Yep, he is gonna catch out House immediately. Super Mega Death Rocket for the added assist, and Dinquedo is gonna clean this up nicely. The save has to disengage from the dragon, and Pain is just gonna collapse on in, but Wiz still has a lot of damage on this Graves. They are reconnecting here, and Karaoke is gonna go not down, but he's gonna trade his support for the sliver of health he has left to get out of this. Only a tier 2 in the pockets of Pain Gaming and Kabum. Ah, man, I'm not sure. It's an even trade, I guess, but Dinquedo not quite done with it yet. Doesn't have the ultimate, but Wiz, he just needs a little bit more damage on the dragon. He actually gets it. He gets it and gets out as well. No way, Kabum just got away with daylight robbery here.
That is actually pretty clutch. We'll see on this replay, right? You can see the setup not great from Kabum as they leave Dinkato in a pocket. That means that House barely gets to do anything in this fight. He just gets burst out. But because of this, one thing to note is that Dinkato is on a weird angle. He's way away from the fight, and Weez has been farming all game. He is tanky and powerful in the front line. He buys enough time for Desabe to rejoin, and with Dinkato consigned to that bottom side of the map, they are able to win the fight, and then in clutch fashion, Weez sees the trap sprung on him. Karaoke wastes even more time, falls even a little further behind in camp score to try to take the Drake away with Dinkato, and he gets it and gets away. That is very, very clutch for him and Kabum.
And of course, the save also with a beautiful Flash Featherstorm there to lock down the chase and secure that kill on damage. So far, Kabum, well, the bot side of their team definitely is on a line, and Wiz and Parang. Once these guys get together, beautiful charm though, they can do quite some damage on the top side of the map, and slowly but surely this cannon is being brought back into the game, but the collapse is coming in. Super Mega Death Rocket lands for some damage, but still Pain not quite able to connect. There's a wall in between damage and the enemy. He uses Flash to get over it because that's just what you do on the Nautilus. Skuro trying to distract everyone, but they finally get the drop on Parang. That's a cannon dead on the floor. Wee's gonna get chunked out, but gets away, and Parang is dead as well. But Weiser, that's his ultimate. It's just Tryndamere thing.
Okay, they're pinging for Baron. I feel like this would be a bridge too far because, okay, hold on. Here we go.
Oh,
He is dead.
never
Goodbye,
mind.
Trio.
Yeah. You gotta. You mean you gotta commend Skuro for his Leona this game? So
Yeah.
many good picks.
Yeah, it's been a real big improvement for Skuro from game 1 to game 2. Has found multiple picks now onto Trigo. Some greedy pathing. Pain will be punished. That's a mid turret. And remember, when all of these resources were expended for that kill in the top lane onto Parang, that's just House picking up waves. That's House picking up a turret in the bottom lane. And you can see he is going to be pretty strong on his next base, nearing 1.5 items. That's also why they couldn't go for the Baron right away. They knew House would be walking up if they tried to get onto that one. So while Kabum still trails in gold here, you can see 2K is still the lead for Pain. They are starting to get to their spikes. 2 items are here for Desave. We are nearing 2 items for House. And once Parang finishes, and I hope he's building it. Oh, I don't think he is. That makes me a little sad. I really feel like he needs to be building Stopwatch right now, or Zonia's. Because if he builds Zonia's, he can start to turn around these dives from Weiser. He can start to buy extra time and turret shots. And I don't necessarily think he needs to do an extreme amount of damage when he shows up in a team fight. They've got plenty of damage. They've got Desave on 2 items. They've got Wheeze at 157 CS with an Eclipse. Like, they have damage. He just needs to provide the CC and the TP and not let Weiser win this game through a split push.
Yeah, that's gonna be the big issue here. It's always the big issue with the Tryndamere, right? And we started talking about this in Champ Select on the start of the game already, right? Because Tryndamere, he has 2 items now. He has the Navori Quick Blades and the Gale Force. 303 with over 200 CS. It's a monster in the top lane, or whatever side lane he actually sets his eyes on. And it is gonna be a pain point that Kabum only can deal with fairly poorly, because quite honestly, in the 1v1, they don't have a single character that can match the Tryndamere. And what are you doing then to match this split push?
Well, they are sending 2 members to try and get him right now, but that could just cost him a mid turret. Desave and Skuro need to play this really carefully. Weez is finally coming back to cover them.
Yep. Parang in the back line as well. The charm doesn't quite land, so they get to clear the waves, and Pain needs to retreat. No tier 1 for the moment, but of course, that also means they needed to pull back Wheeze from the bot lane, and Weiser is gonna be carrying on down there completely unchecked. I don't think even House can match him.
It can be a skill matchup, right? Victor has a lot of tools to ruin Tryndamere's day, right? Gravity Well hates it. Everfrost hates it. He has a lot of CC in his kit. That being said, I do kind of agree with you. And he's actually gone Horizon Focus second. I kind of hate that, but I'm not going to comment too much on it. I think as long as he does damage, it's fine. But I think there are better items to build here second, and they're setting him around this Drake. Weiser's just freely split pushing. I mean, Kabum needs to pull the trigger here. They need to go. Parang is going to match him.
Oh, beautiful charm though by Dinquedo. That's going to take a lot of steam out of the push into the pit from Kabum. It's going to be a free Drake for Pain, the second one to pick up. But of course, Weiser at least had to rejoin his team, so no tier 2 picked up in the bot lane, and Parang gets to clear the wave. I was a little bit worried when Kabum actually invested House's TP towards the mid lane, because I thought with that Victor and not really any results to show for, they don't get much. And did the save actually get the red buff? He did. Nice. Oh, Dinquedo though, there's an Ahri all alone on herself in a 1v1, caught up by a Leona. They don't get to collapse in on Dinquedo quite in time. That's all the old charges burned from Dinquedo. At least it didn't flash.
Yeah, 2 ults for 1, too, so technically a trade up. I don't think it'll really matter that much, right? Nobody's really in position to head towards this Baron. Pain doesn't really want a team fight. They want Weiser to be this threat in the side lane. And credit to Parang here. He has actually gone for that Zhonya's Hourglass that I asked him to do. This is going to be really helpful to slowing Weiser down, even though he's 3 levels down. Again, it's just about buying time underneath that turret, as we've seen Weiser play the dives very well to this point. He is level 16, moves towards mid, and that should net them this mid turret as well as How's. Oh boy.
Yeah, he's all by himself, but then again, it's Karaoke, and he is building full tank volley bear, so not necessarily the most dangerous bear on the Rift. But again, it's the only bear, so yeah, tough discussion.
Yeah, level 15 is House. He is kind of the strong member here on the side of Kabum. He's done a much better job in this game on the Victor than he did on the Rise. A little bit ahead in CS, has those 2 items, working towards the 3rd. Again, every item will feel great for Victor for this team fight. And Pain has not been able to bust open the map as much as game number 1, but they still have Weiser, man. That's still an issue.
It's Tryndamere can turn into like a 1v5 machine, right? But I wanna look at Trigo's build here, because that's a Hex Drinker on a Jinx as a 3rd item. That's an interesting pickup. I mean, I can understand it because you got House, who's a fairly dangerous member of the team. But on the other side, Parang, I mean, he's not going to do too much damage with a Proto Belt and the Hourglass. Is the Hex Drinker the right pickup here?
Well, hold on here.
Never mind. Ooh.
There goes House. Just as we're complimenting him, Parang has to TP for that. Oh boy. Okay, so Parang has to TP for that. Now he just has to base and head back to match Weiser. And they're going to cancel bases. Skuro in a little trouble. Could they just start the Baron Pain?
Might just be a call to be made here. I mean, they have the numbers advantage. They have Weiser in the bot lane who's going to net himself a tier 2 turret. Yep, that's a Baron call. And of course, he has a faster path there thanks to the Hex Drake gates. But then again, that's not really something you can contest here at the moment for Kabum, because Pain is so strong. They're spotted out. They're gonna rotate and collapse on in. The depth charge lands on the Zarya, and she is gonna be sandpacking Weiser in the back line. Gonna ult late, flash out away from the slicing maelstrom as Parang is a little bit too late to the party, and Karaoke picks up the kill. It's a steamroller of a fight for Pain and the Baron to boot. This is looking great for them in game 2.
Oh, it's just beautiful. And it's Dinkato again who gets it all started, finds the initial pick onto House. That makes every other map movement possible for the side of Pain. And hold on here, Damage has to fly away. They're trying to contest this Wheeze and House.
Yep, House is in the middle there, but he doesn't have the Chaos Storm. Weiser looking for the flank here, but he doesn't have an ultimate, which can be very dangerous. Immediately blown up on the Ahri. Double kill coming in for Kabum, but Baron is picked up. House is slowed down, and the Jinx is just gonna mow him down. Trigo grabs the kill, and even though Pain sustains some damage, it's a Baron pickup and the power play following on the heal. It's gonna be rough times for Kabum here.
Yeah, and we'll see the replay here. I'll be honest. This fight was doomed from the moment it started because of what happened earlier on. Dinkato got the pick, meaning they're already down a man. Weiser gets a turret, and he says, okay, I got my turret. I'm just going to walk back to the Baron. So it's always going to be a 3v5 with a level 17 Tryndamere coming on the flank. That is not a fight you win if you are Kabum. And Howz and Wiz do their best to try to slow this one down, to try to disrupt it, but it's not enough at the end of the day.
I really got to question Howz's decision to throw everything in the kitchen sink at damage over the wall there when he knew he was going to push into the pit anyway, right? It's a very risky call to just burn your ultimate and then still contest the Baron, and they got punished for it hard. So Pain just capitalizing massively on the mistakes we're seeing from Kabum, and it is rough for the blue team here to pull anything back from this point on. 6k down, not an easy task.
I got a bigger question, and it has a partial answer. Desave had 2.5 items going into that fight. He has 3 now. He did not ult in that fight. After Damage used his Nautilus ulti on him, and the reason is that he got flashed on and stunned, I believe, by either Karaoke or Dinkato. But as soon as that Nautilus ulti is placed on you, as soon as the depth charge is placed, why are you not ulting? Why are you not creating this safety field for your team? It's shocking to me that Xayah ultimate, the Featherstorm, was not used at all in that fight.
It's definitely worrying. We'd need to dissect the replay to find an answer for that. But for the moment, well, Desave is the one man on Kabum that, well, might be able to turn these team fights in their favor next to his Graves, of course, in the jungle. But other than that, well, it's gonna be a rough time defending against Baron buffed minions, Wiser on the split push, and so much pain rolling into Kabum's base. There's the Feather Storm. Good damage on Trigo, but they don't get the Xayah quite yet. And with that, it just means an open inhibitor, quite honestly.
Yeah, not a lot of wave clear yet. 4 members coming down here. Here comes the engage. Damage whiffs.
Damage whiffs, no engage to follow on that up, but Wiser, well, what do you need engage for when you could just slow people and then just run them down? That's the Tryndamere style of his gameplay right here, and for the moment, they're very happy with that. Waiting for his spinning slash? Hello, excuse me, can he get out? That's the big question. Lots invested here with the Solar Flare and the Chaos Storm. They don't take him down, but at least take his ultimate and force Pain Gaming to go packing. Look at those Hextech gates. How are you feeling about Hextech gates? Did they hit the mark?
Yeah, I think they did. I think they're cool.
Nice.
You know,
I'm just glad that
nice little flank opportunities, not too strong. You can clearly see them and hear them. Karaoke is speaking of the Hextech gates. He's getting surrounded, and they're gonna let him go.
Yep. Up. Well, ult's out. I mean, you can do that.
The ult will be up by the time the objectives are up. 2 minutes 30 on the Drake. That is the Hextech Soul for Pain. That is the highest win rate Soul in the game, by the way. So definitely something that Pain would love to take for themselves. And on the other side of things, Baron also up in 2 minutes 10 seconds. So no problemo. Yep. Karaoke he'll have that ult by the time these fights come around. And Pain sitting pretty here, 6K gold up. We talked about the items for Kabum. We look across 4 items for Wiser, including that hole breaker. So yeah, he doesn't really even want to fight. 3 items for this tank volley bear, 3 items for Dinkato. Everybody is online as the that Hex Drinker has been completed as well. So definitely not going to burst out Trigo with any AP damage as well in this fight.
That's kind of the big thing, right? You have multiple threats on the Pain Gaming team, and then there is the Jinx. As soon as she gets excited, she's just gonna roll over any team fight anyway. But then she has a Hex Drinker on top of that, or the Maw in this case already. She has the Lifeline, the Spell Shield. You can't burst this Jinx. That means you can't even take out this ADC at the start. What you can do is maybe get a pick onto damage, and they do get that one. It's a repeat again of game 1 with Kabum in the mid game, starting a comeback streak of support picks. What you thinking about that, DJ?
It is a nice pick. Unfortunately for them, it's a little early. Plenty of time for damage to come back up and get himself set up for the Drake. And there's plenty of vision already put around the pathway to this Drake. We've seen Dinkato already have a couple of slick pickoffs to set up big moments in this game number 2. So a tall task still for Kabum. And again, damage 10 seconds now. He'll have time to rejoin the squad and get all set to try to take down this Hextech Drake.
2 games, 2 Hextech Souls. I'm suspecting to see a pattern here. We'll see about that in game 3 if we get another one of that. If we do, I'm calling this rigged, and I don't even know what I do about that then after that. But for the moment, it's going to be Pain trying to collapse here on the members of Kabum in the attempt to establish any vision. But for the moment, it's not looking too good. Oh, Spinning Slash doesn't go over the wall. TP immediately pulled the trigger on that one. House is in there. Dinquedo slowed up. The Chaos Storm, once again, invested without anything in terms of consequences. And that's a massive tool down for the fight.
Yeah, we used Chaos Storm and collateral damage. Why? What? He never even got close to dying.
Well, we'll have to discuss that later as Barang actually goes into the backline with the Hextech Drake, and the gate and the soul is not going to go over. It's the 3rd Drake for Kabum, but the Slicing Maelstrom in the backline hits 3 people in the meantime. Wiser 1v4ing the entire enemy team before he gets taken down by Wiz with the collateral damage. But Desave with the massive Xayah mechanics, the Feather Soul finally comes in, and they are turning this fight on its heel. Kabum with the miracle team fight, get the dragon and win the fight, at least to an extent.
Yeah, they do get the dragon. That's the critical thing. You can see Pain already headed up to the Baron. They know that one member needs to answer the super minions in the bottom wave, meaning even with 3 members, even limping away from that dragon, they should get this Baron. Desave is going to try to disrupt them, as is Wheeze. They will get here in time. This could be close, but there's no ulti on Desave.
Damage is so low. This Nautilus is not very tanky, and he's gonna get taken out immediately. They collapse on in. On Kabum, the Baron is cancelled, and they trade 1-for-1. Pain walk away with a black eye, and I'm not sure you can call that worth, but Kabum definitely happy about the Baron.
Yeah, that was totally fine for Kabum. They go 1-for-1. They stop the Baron. They'll have plenty of time to get everyone back up and running, and we'll see the fight once again. Look at how much time Weiser buys here. This fight looks so doomed because nobody can kill Weiser. 4 members just killing Prong on the backside, so it's a 4v4, and House is chased out. House is dead, but that snipe from Wheeze takes him down, and now there's the hero moment. That's a lot better from Desave. Uses his ult, pulls back the feathers. This is what we were talking about with the damage from the Xayah. That Blade Caller did so much work, and Wheeze came out of the woodwork to make sure they did not go down. They do enough to stop the Baron, and now everyone has redeployed with a chance themselves to take the Drake in 3 minutes. And Skuro, this is awkward. House can't go over the wall. House can't go over the wall. House can't go over the wall.
Unfortunate situation for the Leona. The blast cone place. Not quite in place, but at least they do stop the Baron attempt, but they do sacrifice their support for it. Kabum. The communication seems a little bit off with them today.
Yeah, I just like I don't know what to say. Like, I don't break that
Oh, that's fine. We can talk about Parang flashing forward on Trigo. They forced the flash out of the Jinx. Don't get the cleanse, though. But it is the second Baron for Pig Gaming the game.
Yeah, you did so much work to stop the initial Baron take, right? You sacrificed Desave's life. You pushed them off of Baron. What is Skuro doing? Like, what is he doing? He screws up the blast plant play. He knows House can't go over the wall. And he just goes anyway? Like, what is this the Big Bird meme? Like, at level 2 we ride? Like what is he doing?
We ride at dawn, no discussion. Well, we'll have to talk about that later. But I can see the plan. I can see the plan. And if House gets over that wall,
he can't get over the wall. He can't get over the wall. You took the blast cone.
House was supposed to go over the wall with the blast cone with him. That did not go as planned. And then, yeah, I mean, you're caught between a rock and a hard place as the Leona there, right? No Hex Flash to get out of that situation. And, well, if you get spotted in that instant or 15 seconds later, if you die 15 seconds later, it's actually way worse. So, well, if you have to die, you die fast.
They still took the Baron, so I don't really think it is. I think you just sit in the bush, and if they see you, they see you.
Yep, exactly. Either way, whoa. That's the part about Xayah that's so dangerous if you're pushing down a lane. If she leaves feathers behind you, just presses her E, or was it the W? I don't quite remember which one the Blade Caller is, but that hurts. That hurts a lot.
Yeah, Desave really doing a ton here. I mean, look at him. He's 5 items with boots. A couple of those are pretty cheap, right? Serpent's Fang and the Chem Tank Sword. But boy, oh boy, is he just shredding members. And I like a lot of these item choices, going for cheap damage, trying to slice through a couple of the shields that'll come through. Damage, has some shielding on his build. Of course, there's shielding on Trigo, too, with that passive shield from his 3rd item, from that magic damage shield. So not the worst itemization, I would say. Critically, what I like about it is it's cheap. It gets you all this lethality, and that is why so much damage is landing. Desave going to be a critical member in these fights to come, especially around the Drake coming up at 15.
Oh, look at that. There was just 2 feathers hitting, and Trigo already chunked out quite a lot. And on top of that, you're full bit on the Xayah now. You have a ton of damage, and you can still optimize that build, sell some of the items, go for some of the more expensive, like high crit, high AD
in here. It's just going to go down. Oh
Yep,
boy.
the dragon is gonna be sliced into its Hextech Soul for Pain. And there's Weiser on the flank, once again slicing Maelstrom, immediately invested, but the Tryndamere is deep in between 5, looking for the kills. He actually takes out Hose, and here comes the Inquator with the flank. The Jinx excited, Pain in full playoffs mode. They get the ace, they get the game, and they move on to match point.
It's just great stuff from Pain. The setup is excellent. They just burst the dragon down with no hesitation. And again, Kabum, they just look completely different than the team that won the regular season. Where is the decisiveness? Where is the threat? They just let the Drake go down and then take a fight against Hextech Soul. What did you think was going to happen? Pain Gaming, the playoff buff is real. They are 2-0 up against the first seed.
Look at the emotions on the team here. You love to see that. The spirits high, the momentum